Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me for an episode of Real Talk. I am excited because I have two wonderful guests with me today. We are talking about how parents can help our kids kind of find out, their passion, their sweet spot for things that they want to pursue for a career and monetize it along the way. A lot of times when it comes to our kids, I know for myself, I have a son who's a DJ and he graduated from high school. He had plans for him to go to college, and he just was really angst about it, just not himself. And we're thinking, what is going on? So we took him out to eat, and he's like, Mom and Dad, I really just want to pursue my passion of dancing and music. And we're like, what? Is that all? You know what I mean? But I guess he had the pressure of feeling like he had to do things the way his other siblings had done it, and just the pressure that he might have felt we were putting on him,
Mhm.
just to follow in everybody else's footsteps when he was noticing that he was actually going to a different drum. He was
Mhm.
literally wanting to do his own thing. And
Mhm.
so we're excited to have this conversation and have these guests today because they are a mother son duo and they have a podcast that they've started. And not only is it just a podcast, but it's really tapping into some uncharted territory. As you can see, one of our guests has a LED mask on. So we'll find out more about that. But before we get into our episode today, as we're talking about how do we help kids find their passion and follow their dreams, I want to give our guest, Tonya, the opportunity to introduce herself and her co host of her podcast, The Floors, before we get into some conversations. So, welcome, you two. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to yield the mic to you, Tanya.
Thank you so much, Lachelle. We're so excited to be here. I'm Tonya Davis. I am one half of the Our NPC Journey podcast, and we'll get into that. It's about nerdcore music in that community because, as you can see, we have a bit of a performer on our hands, and so that's what he wants to do. So I'm going to let him tell you who he is and about what he wants to do.
So, I am the Mountain State rapper. I've been working on music for about half a year now. I think because I started in December, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, about half a year. And my goal is to eventually perform on stage at a convention that I go to every year, called Nerdcore PartyCon.
I love that. So you said you're the Mountain State rapper. How did you
And
come up with that name? That's what I would ask first.
I don't think I've ever seen a lot of rappers that are from West Virginia, to my knowledge.
Oh,
So I figured this would kind of make me stand out.
and then we can have MSR for short. So that's what his logo is MSR.
I love that. I love that. So, let's dive into this LED mask, okay? Because it is definitely a showstopper, okay? I can't even think of another question until we address that first off. So, before we were recording, it was changing colors or something. So, talk to us about this concept because, I think it's so great to market yourself. Not only, like you said, you don't think there's anybody like from West Virginia with your name, but also with this concept of having a mask. So, how did that even come about?
Well, it was like a while before I even started making music. My mom got me this mask as like a birthday present or something.
Mm-hmm.
To kind of, because I used to do like skit videos on TikTok where I'd take audios and just kind of make it my own type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I was originally going to use it for that, but then I started working on music and stuff, and I figured out like if I move my hand or something over the camera that's on like the forehead of the mask, it'll switch colors. So I kind of figured, hey, I could make this mask be kind of like my thing whenever I do like music videos or something. I can switch the face on it and it'll look really cool. So I thought it would kind of help me stand out, much like how there's not a lot of rappers from West Virginia. I just kind of I'm just trying to make sure that I stand out.
And what he does is during the songs, he kind of changes to the beat. So there, and he kind of emotes. It's a
Okay.
performance. It's a performance. It's
I
a whole
love it.
thing,
I love
Michelle.
it. Okay, I love it. Now, I have to ask this because I overcame depression, right? It was 13 years, hospitalized 3 times, and a lot of that journey was like hiding behind a mask, right? So I think it's so profound that you found this way to engage the audience with a mask. So, um what tips would you give somebody about, you know, being authentic yet still being in costume or whatever that looks like, for your performance?
So the way I see masks that I have, because I have a lot of masks in my room, by the way, that aren't just like LED, they're like character masks. The
Mhm.
way I kind of see masks is they're just things that you would put on your face, and then once they come on your face, they come alive. So it's all about what personality you
Mm.
give that mask. It's not necessarily, oh, the mask is doing this certain thing. Whatever the mask is, it just hides your face. You give the mask that personality. So when I'm on stage, it's got like the smile thing and stuff like that, but I can easily change it to an angrier face and match that energy and give it that style. However, I could just as easily be angry with this face and give it that style as well. A mask is nothing but a way to channel your emotions through something, the way I see it anyways.
I love that. That is such a huge reframe. Okay. I am telling you that is just awesome, right? Okay. Because I have a book. It's called Do You Want to Be Whole? 7 Steps to Living Mask Free. But I just love this. I mean, it's amazing the things that you learn from people just with their perspective that really can put you on a different trajectory. Now we have a few guests that are actually in the audience. We have Mary Baker, there's a Derek, Sharon who are here, and Mary is asking. She saw you on Clubhouse, or she was in the Clubhouse room. We did a Clubhouse interview also, guys, so we'll be putting that replay here in the show notes. But she says, how do you choose the themes for your podcast? So I think this is for both of you guys since you do it together.
So basically, he wanted to do a podcast. We had a bit of a different concept, and I wasn't quite sure how we were going to make that concept work.
Hmm.
And as I saw him making music, saw him pursuing his passion, and this is what he wanted to do, I said, well, we can do a podcast, but we were trying to figure out something to do related to what he's doing, because my goal is to give him a platform and help elevate him with the podcast and help him get integrated into the community. Because with nerdcore music, it's all about the community. It's about the fans and the parents. You say, I don't know if it's backwards, I can't tell, but I have my NPC mom shirt on for
Hmm.
nerdcore party nerdcore
Hardcore
nerdcore
party
party
con.
con mom. That's a lot to say.
That's a
Sorry.
tongue twister. Okay, I
It's a
love
tongue twister. He's all embarrassed now. It's okay. Um, yes. Oh no, I turned it off. This is what happens when you get the two of us together.
I love
Sorry, guys.
we're here, we're keeping it real, y'all. That's what real
It's
talk is
real. It's
about.
real. This is what it is. So anyway, so we decided we would talk about nerdcore music and our love for nerdcore and the community. And
Yeah,
so
I
that's
love
why
that.
it's our NPC journey, nerdcore party con.
Okay, so we do have some listeners. Things change all the time. We were talking about this before we hit record because I'm on StreamYard and it's like all these different bells and whistles behind the scenes. So it's always something new. So tell us, what is Nerd Core Party? How am I saying it now?
Nerdcore. It's nerdcore music.
Okay. So
It
talk to us about what that is.
So, nerdcore music is music that creators or YouTubers make about anime, games,
Oh,
fandoms, movies like Marvel, a
okay.
lot of Pokemon, like those types of things. And
Oh,
yeah, and
okay.
so one of the artists just recently, he's on a Pokemon soundtrack now, which is really cool. So
Wow.
some of them are going more mainstream. But yeah, it really is just about this love of these nerdy things, and that's why they call it nerdcore. And so
Wow.
last year he told me he found his tribe. He said, "Mom, I found my tribe."
I love that. Now, so do you go through the same process? And I'll ask him this question. Do you go through the same process that you would with any music? Like, getting beats and, you do the lyrics and, you kind of collaborate with that because I have a daughter and a son that, they get beats from somebody else, they write it and, put it all together in the studio. So what is that like for his music that he does? Does he do everything? Does he collaborate with other people? How does that work?
He's done a couple of collaborations with local people. He's working on trying to get some bigger creator collaborations, but he's been putting out a song a week. And so he's finding the beats, he's laying the tracks down, he's writing the song, he's recording the song, and then he's doing a video to go along with it every week. And
Wow.
so one of the things he's been able to do, he has a friend who is really interested and wanted to help him. And so sometimes if he's very overwhelmed with tennis or with school or what have you, he'll hand a project to his friend and his friend will help edit for him because that's time consuming too.
Love that. Now I have a connection
Oh,
that I will introduce him to. She actually wrote 1,000 songs in 1,000 days
wow.
live
Oh,
on Facebook. She ended up
wow.
getting 4 world records for it because she actually wrote more than 1,000. She did a children's song every day also. And so um something like it was the largest soundtrack ever, that she got anyway. It was 4 world records. So I'm going to connect you guys, but she did it live
Wow.
every day for 1,000 days on Facebook. So
I
that's
can
some
do that.
inspiration. If she can do it, you can do it. Okay. So I'm gonna connect you guys.
Awesome.
She's got books out and everything with her songs. Okay, so
I can
Mary is
spit.
asking
Hmm.
also, um, how do you connect your music to the audience with the podcast?
So in the corner of our podcast, we have one of his songs linked
Oh,
there. So
okay.
we actually are on a Go Brunch platform,
Yeah, I've heard of that.
and so our background is like a recording studio slash podcast studio. So we had it specifically designed for us. And then down in the corner, you have the YouTube link to one of his songs.
Okay.
So that people can see one of his latest songs and some stuff that he's doing. Sorry, we're having technical
Oh,
difficulties.
you're good. I mean, he's just rolling right with it. I mean, I love it. So it's just this is real life, you guys. So you never know
It
what
is
you're gonna.
this. Yes, it is. Yes, it
I'm
is.
used to it. I just don't know if you guys are used to it. Okay, because I
I
mean, it's just
This song
a
in the middle
all
of it,
out
you know.
adventure and craziness in my household.
with 15 children, I would say so, Lachelle. I know it gets crazy just with one.
I'm
Am
just
I still on
saying.
screen? I have no idea.
Yes, you're on
Okay.
screen.
What was he saying now?
He was making sure he was still on screen.
Yeah. Now, so do you get for every episode? Do you have like a different music composition for that, or is that just like a separate thing? MSR altogether.
Right. Sorry, I think I missed something when I was getting chargers and stuff.
Can you repeat the
Yeah.
question,
So I was
Lachelle?
saying,
Sorry.
like, do you have music that goes along with each podcast, or is the podcast journey kind of separate than the music inspiration?
So I don't really make a song for each podcast episode.
Okay.
I more so just make a song every week and put it on my channel.
I
I did
see.
make an intro when I first started. I may have to like revamp that now that I'm better at making music now, but I did make an intro at the start of the.
And mom is technologically challenged, as you've witnessed today, and so I need to get the intro music into the podcast and things like that, because I'm trying to do all of that stuff so that he can do the music, and mom is slow at it. So
I
I'm
I
learning.
I totally get that. I mean, and definitely understand. So we do have another question from someone in our community that says, in an increasingly digital world, how can we ensure that the youth develop the resilience and emotional skills needed to deal with the pressures and challenges of real life away from the screens? So, when we're thinking about this podcast, what is it? Real life issues that you guys discuss? Is it just about your passion? What is the format for your podcast?
Literally all we talk about is nerdcore.
We talk about nerdcore and our
Okay.
journey with nerdcore. And one of the things that I discovered at this last year's nerdcore, because when we named it our NPC journey,
Mm-hmm.
we were thinking the two of us, but it's also the whole community, not just us.
I see. Okay.
So, my goal is we already have some moms lined
Mm-hmm.
up, and we have some
I need to
fans.
get my friend in too.
Yeah, and we have some friends lined up because we want them to come on and share their experience as well.
Love that. Now, so the fact that you're able to just dive into this passion, what advice would you give to other youth around, being able to follow your passion? I think, there's so many things like right now, AI is, people are afraid of that. They're afraid of robots taking over, just a number of things. So when you think about youth being engaged in something that, a lot of times generations just don't pick up. It's like, there's this trepidation around, oh, I don't know about this AI. It's not good. It's just, gonna take us down a bad path. How do you keep that balance? You know,
Um, I mean, I think there are aspects of the AI that you can always incorporate. And I know that there are people making music with AI, but from our perspective with the AI, it's not going to replace that human connection between the fans and the creators that is the community of Nerdcore. So I think you have to look at how you can keep the human connection, even if you're utilizing AI. Keep that connection somehow, and it's through this big 5-hour concert and 3-day convention that they do every year, so that they can connect and meet the creators that they've listened to for a year or 10 years. And so it's that human connection that we have to keep in
hmm
mind.
I mean, sure, you can make a song on AI, and sure, you might make money from it, but it's not going to be the same as actual music made by a human being.
mm
I mean, I've heard AI songs before, and yeah, they're good, but it's never going to match the same. Like, I'd rather listen to a song by Rustage or DPS or Chewy Cat over an AI song that somebody just typed a prompt into. It's AI can do a lot of things, but it's not human. It can't match that connection that you get by having something made by a human with like actual emotion and drive. AI only knows to do what it's programmed to do, and that's not its fault. It just can't. It's not any better than that. So it's just humans are capable of more in terms of creativity.
Yeah, I love that. Now, you were mentioning before around this was on Clubhouse about your journey of mastery. I guess that's what I'll say. You talked about how when you're starting, you know that your music is not going to be the same as where you're headed. So, talk to us around how you're able to have that mindset, because I find a lot of adults that decide, oh, I want to have a podcast. And they do 5 episodes and then they're done with it because they have this pressure of feeling like it's not good enough. So, and I could see, a lot of this happening in a lot of things that, adults, children, where we start something and then we give up. So, what advice would you give them around resiliency and sticking with it?
So, pretty much every song I do, I try to improve a little more than the last one. You're not gonna start rapping and immediately be as good as Eminem or something. He spent years practicing and he just rapped on his porch a bunch. And, like, on day one, you're not gonna do that. You're not gonna be able to make really good rap music on day one. I mean, I know this. I'm fully aware of this. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm some lyric master or beat master. I don't know. But what I do is I try to improve something different on each song. So last week maybe I tried to improve my rhyme scheme. Maybe this week I'll try to improve how the bass sounds and stuff like that. You can't focus on making it perfect the first time. You just need to do it. When we went to NPC, one of the artists named Game Boy Jones, he actually told us that he saw like a quote that he really liked that basically said, "It's not going to be perfect the first time. Just do it." And I mean, that's pretty much how I feel whenever I make music. Like, I'm never gonna make the perfect song. Nobody makes the perfect song. Perfection is impossible to attain. There's always gonna be something wrong with it, but you can always make it better. That's the good thing about perfection being impossible. You can always make something better.
And even the big artists will tell you, you have to eventually put it down and put it out, because you can tinker with it forever. You can tinker with a song forever and you'll never be 100% satisfied. So you have to just do it and get it out there and just try and improve as you go.
I love that. I mean, that just answer speaks volumes because, when you see things on social media or there's business get rich quick type things, the wisdom that you have to know that it took someone years to be where they are at your age. And we didn't even say he's a junior in high school. Um, what do you do to get your emotions in check with that? Because I think a lot of times, we let our emotions run away with us. Oh my gosh, I can be a millionaire, and we believe something that's just not true. So, how do you keep yourself in check around, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough, or, having unrealistic expectations for yourself?
So it's simple, really. I know it's true. I know I'm not good enough. That's a simple fact. But I'm not going to let that stop me. I'm going to keep going until I am good enough. Yes, I'm not good enough. Yes, I'm not going to be a millionaire today, tomorrow, or even a year from now. But that's not going to stop me from putting the work and using the drive to make myself better and maybe eventually get to the point where that could be a possibility. No, I'm not going to perform on NPC's stage tomorrow. It's not happening tomorrow. NPC isn't for another year. However, um, it also, even if it was going to happen tomorrow, I wouldn't be on that stage. It's very simple. You're not going to pull something off in a day, unfortunately, because you need to put the work in to become good enough to be able to do that. So, yeah, I realize it's not enough, but I just kind of use that realization as drive to keep pushing myself forward.
I love that. Now, so how do you handle your peers who may not be on your level of work ethic? Let's just put it like that because, I have children that are young and it's like, they're fired up, consistent for a month, maybe trying to get more followers on TikTok or Instagram or something like that. But you
Oh,
have this wisdom to be able to see, the journey that's ahead of you. But how do you navigate through that when you have people your age that don't have that same vision?
well, I can't really control what the people my age do.
Mhm.
If they don't want to have the drive, they don't want to work hard enough, that's fine. I mean, they aren't me. I can be my own person and I can have my own drive. I don't have to look at my classmates who could be like cheating on a test or something because they didn't have the will to study the night before. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to study and not cheat. It's very simple. I mean, that's not like an actual example, but it's just like,
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I mean, I
yeah.
love that because it's to me, I hear the delayed gratification. And that's just a hard thing to uh teach somebody who was in a microwave society where they're used to getting everything today, tomorrow. It's like if you need an answer, Google it on your phone and it's there immediately. Back in my day, we had to either look in the dictionary or the encyclopedia.
Mhm. Right?
And now that's just
Exactly.
like so not even a thing. Okay.
Everything's at your fingertips. Yeah.
Exactly.
So one of the things he's had to learn is problem solving.
Hmm.
Because there have been a few times when someone has said, yes, I want to collaborate, and yes, I'll have this to you by a certain time, and that doesn't happen.
Long story short, I had to make a song in one weekend. That was fun.
He had to make a whole song and
Mm-hmm.
video and edit it and everything in one weekend. Um, and then sometimes he'll have something on the back burner
Hmm.
so that if something happens, he has something more ready to go so that he doesn't have that same experience of trying to get something done in a weekend, because
I
you
love.
can't. Yeah, because you can't, like you said, you can't control other people.
Hmm.
Other people that are collaborating with him don't have the same drive. They aren't trying to accomplish the same thing, and it's not as important to them as it is to him.
Yes.
So you just have to roll with it and problem solve and figure it out.
That's good. Now, what advice would you give other moms, parents around supporting your child? Because, you mentioned that you're not tech savvy, or maybe you've never even heard of Nerdcore, right? Before. So, how do you get on board with something that may be totally out of your comfort zone and
uh,
support your child?
well, it's letting him be who he is and observing what he loves and having joy from the excitement that he has about all of this. That's where it really comes from.
Hmm.
And it's not a traditional 9 to 5 job that he wants to do.
Hmm.
And so, can that make a parent nervous? Yeah. But there, like we were talking earlier, there's lots of ways to monetize and to make money. And so,
Hmm.
especially nowadays, there's a whole wide variety of
Hmm.
different things you can do. And so for me, it's finding out what they love, giving them the experiences. He's taken video editing classes, he's taken animation classes, coding to figure out what he likes and what he doesn't like. He figured out he doesn't really like the animation and the coding.
I don't have enough patience for that.
He figured out he doesn't have enough patience for that. You heard him. Great. Now let's try something else and see what you do love. So it helped him though doing those things, because when he got to the music production piece of it and we were having lessons, he only had 5 lessons with someone in this particular software to learn how to make the music. Because he had the editing skills, he picked up on it really quickly because it's very similar. And because the job that I had done, I had seen that. I had someone that would help students with music production. He was like, if they can do the video editing, they can do the music production because it's so similar. And it that panned out true in real life. So just
Love.
supporting them and seeing what they love,
Hmm.
and fanning that flame for them, whatever it may be, and not trying to force them into doing what you think they should do if it doesn't align with what they want to do.
I love that. Now, so for you, MSR, what advice would you give young kids who are passionate about something that is non-traditional? So, you mentioned before that you just don't see yourself working at a desk or whatever that normal traditional style of work looks like for you. What advice would you give other youth around being able to have this conversation with your parents?
Well, if you don't want to do something, if you want to do something traditional, that's more than okay. It's just something I can't do. I can't sit at a desk all day and just sit there filling out paperwork or something. I can't do that. But if you want to have that conversation with your parents that you don't want to do something traditional, make sure it's really what you want to do, because you want to make sure that they can see that it's the drive that you have. Because if you want to do something non-traditional, that's great. However, it is very risky and you need to have the drive and the willpower to push it through to the end. It's not always going to be easy, and I'm sure when I get older and I'm on my own, I'm going to have some tough times, because I'm not going to be working solely so I can work 9 to 5 my whole life. I'm going to be working so that I can make enough to keep doing this music stuff until it eventually becomes self supporting. I'm sure I'm going to have tough times every now and then. Life isn't perfect. You're not going to get everything right. You're not going to get everything immediately. You're gonna have rough times. So I've accepted that, and I'm going to work so that I can minimize those rough times. And that's the drive that you need to be able to show your parents when you have that conversation with them. Because if you don't, they may be worried that you might not, that you might just throw your life away, and that you might not be successful and you could end up homeless or something. You need to have that drive if you're going to do something non traditional.
I love that. Now, so how do you create, your friend group or, your work um I don't know, coworkers or people that might complement your business that you're in? How do you find these people? What's your checklist, or how do you gauge who you should be hanging out with or doing business with?
Really, I don't really know if I've ever thought it out, really. I've just kind of had like this kind of sense, if you know what I mean. Like,
Mhm.
I'll talk to people, I'll meet them, I go to NPC, or I talk to people at school. I'm not sure what mom's doing. Uh,
Turning the ringer off. Sorry.
it's like, I'm not sure what mom's doing. But, but,
This is us, Lachelle. This is what you
Hey,
get.
I'm all for it. It's good.
but I just kind of have I just kind of meet people, I talk to them, and then I'll do like a project with them and see how it goes. If it goes well, then great, we'll keep working together. That's what I did with my friend that does my video editing sometimes. I mean, I was like, yes, I would love to work with you, but if it doesn't go well, then we can't do that. Like, if you can't meet the deadline, or if the video doesn't at least do as well as my other ones, I need to prioritize my career as far as work goes. I'm more than happy to stay friends with you, but I have to make sure that if we're going to work together, that this will actually do well on my channel. And it did. So now, every now and then, if the workload's too much for me, I'll be like, hey, can you help me out with this project? I'll send it to him. And he just asks that I give him credit. So I put his name in the description whenever I have him do a video. And it's amazing. It's wonderful. And yeah,
That's just, I'm telling you, you were given a master class to some adults that are listening to this, okay? Because that's a hard, I think we make things too hard because we get entangled in things. We're sometimes afraid to speak up and, the everything that goes along with that. But the fact that, you have clarity enough to talk to people about this in the beginning before it even gets out of control. I mean, to me, that's wise in itself. So, really love that.
Well,
And,
it's having those boundaries, right? And
mhm,
even adults have trouble with boundaries. I remember there was when he was much younger and starting out on doing YouTube. I've been very careful about him giving out personal information. That's a safety thing for me. And
Mhm.
I heard him talking to somebody on the phone, and I heard him say, "So you understand why you can't be in my next video, right?" And he gets off the phone, and I was like, why can't so and so be in your video? What happened?" He said he was giving out personal information on himself, and I told him he couldn't do that. So I told him, you can't be in my videos for a while, until, until he respected the rules.
And he hasn't since.
And he hasn't
I
since.
just don't like that kid, honestly, not gonna lie. He's friends with
Okay.
my best friend. That's why
This
that's
is
why I
going,
don't.
Okay.
look, this is going worldwide. Okay,
I know. We're
MSR.
not going to get into the tea, the personal
Nobody in
tea.
this town. I'm sorry, nobody in this town is gonna see it.
We're
They're
also
going to do
learning
their
PR
research. Okay,
etiquette.
that's what
Yeah.
people do. The paparazzi, they dig deep. I
Well, then I'll
love
be
it.
very popular.
I'm excited that I'm gonna be part of your fame, because they'll be like, "Oh, we heard it there with America's Supermom."
That's
You
right.
heard it first. You heard it here first, folks.
I love. Okay, so you know what? The time is gone. We've already been here for like 30 minutes. So my last question is around back to school, because you're getting ready to start a new school year. You're going to be a junior. What advice would you give children around having life balance with, having a career, which is something you're building right now, this work ethic and all the other things that you're managing? Are you working your senior year at all? Like any kind of part-time job? Is it all sports and academics? What is your year going to look like?
Well, he's a junior, so
I'm a
he's not a
junior.
senior yet.
But as
Mhm.
far that job thing just was kind of funny to me because we went literally yesterday. We were at the mall and I saw GameStop was hiring, and I kind of wanted my first job to be a GameStop, but that's not going to work because I walk in. I'm like, hey, I play tennis. Can I still work at? Like, is there
Right.
going to be issues with that? He's like, well, first of all, you need to be 18. And I'm like, well, that's all I needed to hear. Have a good day, man. I just walked out because I knew I wasn't going to be getting a job for the next 1.5 years,
Actually, just about a year. You'll be
give or take.
17. You'll
Yeah.
be 17 next month.
Yeah.
I have my delusions.
Okay. Anyway.
You have your motherly delusions. I have
So
my age
okay.
delusions.
So, so one of the things that we did have a discussion about, he had done like a tennis tournament one weekend, and there was clinic on Sunday, and or something, I can't remember, but anyway, he didn't want to go to clinic. It wasn't a school practice; it was a
For those of you who don't know, because I've made this mistake before and people thought that I was in a medical place. No, clinic
Mm.
is not a doctor's office
no
in terms of tennis. It is a
tennis,
group lesson.
a tennis
I've
clinic.
made
Yeah,
people concerned by saying that because they thought I was at the doctor's office.
no, no. So tennis, and he said he didn't want to go, and he was like, I don't have to be number one at tennis. And I said, no, you don't have to be number one at tennis. That's absolutely right. You can play to the best of your ability. I said, you had mentioned wanting to play in college. If
Mhm.
you want to play in college, there's a certain level of dedication that you have to have. And he said, well, I would rather work on my music. And I said, okay. I said, I'm not going to force you to make the choice. That's your choice. It's your life.
Mhm.
Um, but you have to weigh out the things that you want to do and the amount of work that you're willing to do to put them in there. And he does that. I mean, he does great at tennis. He's a good tennis player, and he's up in the top level of his tennis group. But, you know, playing college is different, and so that's not his focus. He doesn't want to turn pro. He doesn't, I don't. Do you even
Mhm.
want to try and play tennis in college now?
I'm gonna do a rec league.
So he's like, okay, I'll do a rec league. Fine, great, okay.
Mhm.
So then we know where his energy needs to go.
Love that. So any other advice that you would give everyone, MSR, regarding how do they follow you? What are some things that, being an influencer like you are, even though, when we're starting out with a lot of things we're passionate about, we don't even consider that we're influencing people. But as an influencer, what advice would you give anybody listening? Because I'm telling you, I'm over here taking notes and I'm 54. So, what advice would you give everybody regarding their passion or any music advice? I don't know. Whatever is coming to mind. What is it that you want to share with us?
If you have a passion that you have, don't let it go to waste. There's
Mm.
plenty of talent and dreams that I've seen my friends have that they've let reality get in the way and just kind of like I know somebody that is really good at art and they're like, well, it's really hard to make money as an artist. And I was in middle school. I wasn't quite as um some word as I am now.
Mhm.
And I just didn't tell them to kind of, well, maybe if you like really work hard on it, you could do something like you could do graphic design, you could do something like that. I didn't think to say that because I didn't.
Well, and you were younger too. You
I know. Well, that's what I'm
you
saying. Like I
Mhm.
didn't
was,
know.
but what I'm saying now is if you have a passion or a dream, never let that go to waste because you never know what it could become. That passion or dream that you have could become reality sooner than you think. And it's not going to happen immediately, like I said earlier, but if you work towards it, you can make that dream reality and you could be living it.
And the one thing that I want to add to that is the importance of getting them connected to people in the field that they're interested in,
Mhm.
because that way they can learn lots of different ways to be involved in that passion, and they can discover different ways of making money, monetizing, having a business or career, whatever, that they didn't know was even possible. But if you're connected to people in the field, then they can tell you those things. So that's why it's so important for that personal connection, to mentoring and job shadowing and internships and all of that kind of, and or going to events. Like that's why we go to
Especially
NPC.
USMBC, I literally just go for the fun. The fact that I'm networking is just a side effect.
So he says it's a side effect, but let me tell you, Lachelle, I know I'm sorry we're running over, but let me tell
No,
you
you're
this.
good. You're good.
The first year we went, he was so starstruck he could barely speak to Chewy Cat, who was the one that got us all involved
Yeah.
in this. This was the first artist. That was 3 years ago. Last year, he showed him a video of performing Chewy Cat's song on the beach with his
Oh,
mask.
wow.
This year, this child was handing out business cards to all of the creators saying, if you want to collab, now's a good time because I'm small and I'm free. Now,
I
I
love
did
it.
say that a couple times.
it was more than a couple times. So
I
he says
love
it's
it.
a side effect. He was working it. I don't know if he realized he was working it, but he was working it, and I was so proud of him. So to see that
Yeah.
progression for him from barely being able to speak to Chewy Cat to giving him a card and saying, hey, if you ever want to collab, I'm available.
I love
I was
that.
blown away. I was so blown away. So I had to say that and tell how proud I am of all the
Yeah.
progress he's made.
Now, so let me ask one final question because I love questions. Okay, when in this situation with Chewy Cat, what was it that happened in between your next meeting that gave you the courage to go up to him? What were you doing? What were you telling yourself? How did that happen?
I'm not really sure to be honest. Just in between meetings, I guess I just slowly got more and more confident. And even though I myself will tell you I'm not that confident in person, if I have a goal that I'm working towards and I need to project that, I guess subconsciously I turn some kind of switch on once I've had the experience enough to like figure out what I'm doing. It's not
Mhm.
really a preparation thing, and it's not the same for everybody. Everybody's different. I'm sure some people have to hype themselves up before that. But in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna do all this. And at some point, a switch just gets flipped on subconsciously when we get there. And I just start talking to people. And I guess I kind of start doing
Networking.
networking.
Well, see, for me, it's like if you have a goal or you have a dream and you visualize it, but then you're around people that are doing what you're visualizing and you're close enough to talk to them. I mean,
And you
that's where
learn.
it's a little different. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I think a lot of times we miss out on those opportunities because it's like, oh, they gave you their card. All you have to do is call them back. Or, they told you a link that you can click on and you just don't click it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's crazy how it at the end of the day, we're getting in our own way because the opportunities are there. We're just not taking them. So I love the fact that you shared this transformation and the process, because a lot of people look at where we are now and they don't think that we were nervous about how we first got started, or that they think we always had it together, and it's not that way. It's a process over time.
No,
So
and
I
in
never.
within the last time that he had seen Chewy Cat, he had written a chapter for a book. He had co-authored a
oh yeah.
book. He had done PR for that book, audio rooms, YouTube lives, things like that. So I feel having those experiences and having success with that helped him build his confidence to be able to go up to Chewy Cat, along with making his own music and seeing that he could do it.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. So what final thoughts do you have, Tanya, you know that you would give parents for a new school year, back to school, or just anything with kids and their passion?
Just keeping them engaged and giving them the experience. And if you don't, what I used to do in my previous job is I connected kids to careers, job shadowing, internships. If you don't have the connections, seek out someone who can find them for you so that you can get the kids connected to something that they love.
Mm,
Because personal experience was always the number one influential career factor. They did a study for over a decade, and it was always the personal experience that had the most impact. Mom and dad were 2 and 3. That's why we need to be there to support them as they're going through those experiences, so they can figure it out. It's a career journey. It's not a path. Sometimes we think path is A to B. A journey,
mm,
you have twists and turns. So if you're taking advantage of those opportunities that you were talking about, Lachelle, clicking the link, making the follow-up call to someone that gives you their card, you never know where that's going to take you. If you do nothing, you're not going to go anywhere. So you have to be doing something to make something happen. It doesn't just fall in your lap.
love that. We've got a lot of engagement. A lot of people have joined. Sharon shares a quote: "Your word is your wand." That's by Florence Scovel Shinn, who wrote a short book explaining the game of life and how to play it. Um, I think, I thought this was my last question. And there's just been a lot of people just really amazed at your wisdom and insight. What is your routine around having a strong mindset, MSR? Because when you are writing music and rapping, it may not be for every audience that hears it. So it's kind of like, a mental toughness that you might have, so to speak. So what is in your routine? Do you read, listen to podcasts? How do you keep that resiliency for yourself?
If I'm being honest,
Mhm.
I've never really had a routine. I've just kind of adapted kind of to the world as it is. I've just kind of slowly mentally grew a little bit tougher, if that makes sense, because
Okay.
not everybody's going to support you. And
Uh-huh.
wow, this is really hard to do while you're connected to the wall. Um,
I'm
Had mental
liking it because you're
difficulties.
learning. Hey, the next interview that I do,
I could
I'm
have
gonna
sworn this
have some
charging.
things
This
that
mask
I
is
gotta have to
struggling a
get.
little bit.
Well, and we were talking about trying to get discounts for masks and things like that when we come on. It's time for a new mask because I think part of
Right.
the problem is it's not charging correctly. So even though he charged it, it keeps going on and off. So that's
Yeah,
a lesson for us that maybe we need to have a backup mask.
I do
Ready.
already
exactly.
have my design. I'm
I
working
know.
on that.
I know.
I'm just gonna forget about the
Okay.
LED. It's
Okay.
Well, and
it's
then
for the next
also, I
season.
think another thing is that's gonna be a good selling point. Again, you're learning these things, so when people approach you, hey, we would like to design a mask, then you're clear. Hey, I'm doing interviews. I'm
Mm-hmm.
out here being seen, so this is what I need. It needs to be charged for so long, and
Yeah.
I want to have a Bluetooth version of a
Yeah.
charger. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking off the top of my head,
Yeah.
but these are good things to think about.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so that I can finish what I was trying to say earlier before the wall decided to cut me off. Because I'm sitting there and the cord's like.
Okay. Finish up.
So there's many things that people can do. I guess just in my head I've kind of realized, hey, not everybody's gonna support me, so I can't make everybody happy.
Mm.
And I can't get everybody to put a positive comment, and that's okay. I'm just gonna keep doing my thing and target the people I want to target for my music.
And I will say for him, he's kind of always marched to the beat of his own drum,
Hmm.
and which I feel like is really important, especially for kids these days, because there's so much pressure for other things. And so
Yeah.
if you can just, if you are confident in who you are and what you want to do, then the rest is it's noise, and you don't have to pay attention to the noise if you don't want to. And
Yeah.
yeah, so he's kind of like, I'm doing that. He's doing a graphic design program at another school. I think he's the only one doing it, and I think he's so brave because it's a brand new program for this year, and he wanted to do it because he saw it can benefit him in his graphic design work on his YouTube
Hmm.
channel, and so he's doing it alone.
I love that. And I'm just thinking, like, do you have any plans for like the holidays, like, some kind of cool event around your podcast? Sounds like something that would be fun where it could blend educating your community around what you do, but an also a good opportunity to raise funds for some things that you might be interested in terms of continuing to fine tune your gift or craft, whether it's microphones or, more masks or other merchandise that can help other children see that if you're doing this, that they can do it too, because they could resonate with that message.
Well, on the website, we have checklists for like your first nerdcore song. That's free.
Hmm.
If someone, we're looking at him putting together a workshop to help kids do
Hmm.
learn how to do music if they want to. So thinking of something like that maybe to
Yeah.
start monetizing is what we were thinking. And I also have a free checklist for parents. Again, if they would want further help with that and support, then, I can do workshops or one-on-one sessions or whatever. So that's a way for us to monetize that way too.
Yeah, because you could definitely possibly get sponsors. And I'd say like around the holidays, because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of people in that giving mode,
Yes.
where if you have a plan, then they're willing to fund it. Oh, it's something
Mhm.
positive, it's for the youth, and it's something they're checking off their box.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing. Ari is watching and she says you've been doing a great job coaching as a parent. It's been really on fire, the things that you're doing. So,
Thank
uh,
you, love.
yeah. So, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been wonderful. I'm going to stop there because I still have a lot of questions. So,
We
we
could
may
talk
have
all
to
day
have them
about
come
this.
back for a part two. Okay. Because I'm just like, I'm over here writing notes and still just mesmerized. I'm like, if I had just had half the wisdom, at his age, man, where would I be today? So I just think it's amazing. But we want to thank all you guys for watching. You guys do have a podcast, so we will be putting the links in the thread here to your podcast. You're also authors. We didn't even have time to go into that. Where your book link could be in there. You've did a pre-interview that was on Clubhouse. We're going to put that in there. And I think MSR is thinking about getting some people on board to get their own LED masks. So if you're interested in that, you might want to put your name out there. That'd be a great Christmas gift for people to give their kids or grandkids. So If you're interested in these masks, please reach out. We'll have something to where you can follow him for that as well. So I want to thank everybody for being here today. And remember to stay tuned to a lot of the things that they are doing because we'll be sure to keep you guys updated. So, want to wish everyone a wonderful weekend. And we look forward to seeing you guys on the next episode. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank